Syria's military is preparing to use chemical weapons against rebels and is awaiting final orders from President Assad, according to unnamed US officials quoted in the American media. Washington says that would be all the reason it needs to intervene in the conflict. And as RT's Middle East correspondent Paula Sleer reports, the timing of these unsubstantiated weapons of mass destruction revelations may not be a coincidence.
These rumours are unverified. As of yet, they are just allegations. What they do suggest is that Syria's military has been mixing chemical weapons and loading them into bombs. The allegations suggest that the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad is reportedly planning to use these on his own people. This comes as the US military is making contingency plans should the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad suddenly leave, with the US sources saying that they are aware that Assad has received numerous asylum offers. At the same time, the United States has reportedly deployed the US Eisenhower strike group, which went through the Suez Canal from the Persian Gulf over the weekend. And we understand, according to reports, that it is making its way to the Syrian coast, and it has been throughout this week. Now, what this does indicate, this latest development, is that the United States now stands ready for direct military intervention in the Syrian conflict. Certainly, that is what we're hearing from various sources and various commentators who have been following the story closely. There is at the same time some evidence emerging that rebel fighters might be allegedly planning some kind of chemical attack on Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's supporters. There is a video that has been posted online on Thursday. Now, it does show what is thought to be a rebel fighter feeding chemical weaponry to rabbits, and within a minute those rabbits die. We will not show you how they die because the video is disturbing. This is in fact what the video has to say.
You will die like these two rabbits, you enemies of Allah. Do you believe it now? We will kill you all with our chemical and biological weapons. Look for yourselves. Do you see these rabbits? They inhaled chemical weapons for 1 minute only, and they're dead. Your destiny will be like them because you are supporters of Bashar al-Assad. God is great. God is great. Wait and see. We are from the al-Assad chemical battalion. We will kill you with our chemical weapons.
The video has not been verified. This is an important point to make, but certainly the message it sends out is ominous.
Let's now talk to Dr. Ali Mohammed. He's the editor-in-chief of the Syria Tribune online magazine. So concerned that President Assad could use chemical weapons. Is that likely?
The question is, why would President Assad or the Syrian army use chemical weapons? It's winning the ground, and the Damascus airport battle not a week ago proved that again and again. Why would Syria give a pretext to the US to intervene while it doesn't even need to? I think.
Is there any doubt, though, that Syria does have chemical weapons?
But I'm not in a position to comment on whether or not Syria has chemical weapons, but it's obvious that Syria has something that is scary to its opponents. But the idea is this thing was built and developed to face the massive nuclear power, nuclear bomb power that Israel have, and it was not designated for anything else, obviously.
Well, Hillary Clinton says that Syrian government is on the brink of collapse. If it is in a desperate position, could it not resort to chemical weapons to save itself?
Well, this is a hypothesis that is not true. It's not on the verge of collapse. They have been saying this for the past 18 months, and so far the Syrian government is still there and the rebels are on the verge of collapse. So no, it's not desperate, and even if it goes desperate, the chemical weapons will not solve anything. It's not the answer to anything within the Syrian land, and I don't believe that the Syrian army would use it within the Syrian land at all.
If there is any hint of chemical weapons being used, is that the excuse that the US and its allies are looking for to officially intervene in Syria?
Exactly. Now, we have seen this video that your reporter talked about, and there has been other evidence that we've been collecting for the past 3 months that it's possible, it's actually even more possible for the rebels to use chemical weapons than the Syrian government, and this would be used as a false flag like what happened before. We all remember the night before the last UN Security Council meeting when Russia and China vetoed the resolution. The night before, there was a false flag that was very soon prove to be wrong, and this could be used again in the form of chemical weapons this time.
Threat of chemical weapons is one excuse cited for the reason of in deploying those Patriot missiles by NATO at the Syrian border. Now, the alliance says it's just to protect Turkey from a potential attack also by Damascus. Why would Syria, what would it be in Syria's benefit to attack a NATO member, a neighbor like that?
Exactly nothing. Syria now is having enough trouble without attacking a NATO member, and the idea is Turkey is the one attacking Syria, and Syria is the country that needs protection from Turkey, because we all know now, as it's a lot of evidence leaked, Turkey is hosting rebels, arming them, training them, supporting them, and sending them to fight in Syria. So Syria is the one that needs protection, not Turkey.
Is all this, the talk from the US at the moment, also the deployment of these Patriot missiles, is it perhaps a signal that a no-fly zone over Syria could be established? Although it's being denied by NATO, do you think the alliance is actually being honest about that? Is this the main intention behind all of this?
It could be. It could easily be. I don't think the alliance is being honest, because the past 2 years have proven them to be lying to the public repeatedly, including just lately, because the US has just listed the al-Nusra facet as a terrorist organization while it's still supporting it to topple the regime. They have been lying to the public, and they are likely to lie to the public again.
But look, so many civilians are dying now. This has got to end somehow, hasn't it? Isn't it right now that there should be official intervention? After all, many would argue the intervention in Libya did end the conflict there.
The intervention in Libya did end al-Gaddafi regime, but it did not end the conflict or the suffering of the civilians. Civilians are still suffering until now. And it's very clear that if the Syrian government and the Syrian army should disappear for some reason, the result will be a prolonged and terrible civil war, if not a whole regional war, not only civil.
Dr. Ali Mohammed, the editor-in-chief of the Syria Tribune online magazine, great to hear your thoughts. Thank you for joining us live there from Dubai.